Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Ignite News. I'm Jennifer Taylor.
And I'm Sam McFadden. As you see behind me, the flags are flying half-mast here at Mohawk as they are across the city to honor Nathan Cirillo.
And as we mourn his loss, we were also there covering the story. Our Ignite News team has more.
Hundreds of Hamiltonians lined up along Main Street between Dundurn and Gage on Friday to honor Corporal Nathan Cirillo's final journey back to his hometown. The 24-year-old Canadian soldier was gunned down 2 days earlier while standing guard at the National War Memorial in Ottawa. Why are you out here today?
We want to support the troops, support Canada, and support the Cirillo family and all the other Canadian soldiers. And my cousin's also a soldier for the Canadian Armed Forces, and it really hits home when something this tragic happens.
Despite a lengthy wait, the crowd only grew larger as the hours passed. What was your initial reaction when you found out what happened?
Shocked, appalled that one of our own soldiers could die on our own soil, on our own land. Angry, but more sad. Now more sad and upset that somebody actually lost their life to almost a coward. I would call him a coward.
Emotions were high as Cirillo's body entered the city. The motorcade was greeted by a careful rendition of O Canada and a hesitant applause. Cirillo's body arrived in Hamilton around 8 o'clock after embarking on a 6-hour journey along the Highway of Heroes, starting off in Ottawa. After the procession, many lined up outside the Armory on James Street North to pay their respects. What did you feel as the car drove by?
People all over the world are watching this at home on their TVs, and when you're actually here, in person, tears just start coming down my face. It's so much more emotional than I could have ever imagined. Hamiltonians, we all stick together, and we are a strong enough city and country that we will move forward. Something like this happens so close to home, although it happens all over. It's always different when it's like next door to you. I'm still having trouble with words, and his son, his family, I don't think there's a heart that does not go out to his family and his friends, and the rest of the soldiers in Quebec. What happened, that tragedy is absolutely devastating.
A procession of officers and members of the regiment made their way up James Street to Cathedral Place to honor the late Corporal Nathan Cirillo on Tuesday. An armored vehicle towed a gun carriage which carried Cirillo's casket. It came to a stop in front of the Anglican Church, and members of Corporal Cirillo's regiment, the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders, hoisted the flag-draped casket and marched inside for the funeral. Shortly behind marched a 5-year-old boy wearing Cirillo's Highlander cap, about to say goodbye to his father. In front of the boy was the corporal's mother, Kathy, who was being comforted by 2 soldiers as they walked her in the cathedral. Paying their respects to the fallen soldier were prominent politicians, including Andrea Horwath, Justin Trudeau, and even Prime Minister Stephen Harper. Outside, thousands of Hamiltonians lined the streets in support, carrying flowers, wearing flags, and pride. An onlooker describes the feeling of unity as a city and a nation.
Sadness, joy that our country can come together for it. So it's just a mix of emotions that every Canadian should be feeling after a situation like this.
Brian MacDonald, an elected official in New Brunswick and a 15-year vet in the infantry, says the country has changed because of Cirillo's death.
I mean, these 2 murders really are a change from what we've had in the past. There haven't been any direct attacks on Canada for over 100 years, and so I think it does bring it home. I mean, for the Canadian Army, they've kind of been at war and bearing the brunt of that, but when it actually is on our soil, it's a very different feel.
Nathan Cirillo has been given the fond nickname of Canada's son. For Ignite News, I'm Jennifer Taylor.
You will find no prouder Canadians than the nearly 50 new citizens that accepted their citizenship at a recent ceremony held in Mohawk's McIntyre Theatre. New citizen Alma Algerian is excited about the possibilities that being a Canadian citizen can bring.
It feels great. I love it. I'm really glad that I'm a citizen now. I have so many opportunities ahead. I like it a lot now because now I can travel more, because when I was a permanent resident it's kind of limited, but now I can go anywhere.
Elder Eliza Hartley knows what it's like to feel like an outsider even though she's spent her entire life in Canada.
They weren't friendly because I would look very Aboriginal. And Manitoba in those days didn't like Aboriginal people. There was too many of us, you know. So they said you should go back on the reserve. I never lived on a reserve in my life. So that's why I thought, okay, so I'll go. I'll get out of here. They do feel, I'm sure, especially if their skin isn't white. They feel that, because I felt that from the time I was little.
For Ignite News, I'm Nick Hindknapp. Chris Ferguson has plenty to be happy about. In his second year as a festival organizer, he has hit the nail on the head and made sure to secure his Steel City Jazz Fest as a stalwart in Hamilton's music scene.
The biggest crowd so far was at last night's show for the Jazz Connection Big Band, and we had about 100 people out, and Artwood Art Park can't even hold 100 people, so we definitely couldn't have had that many people out the other nights. And it was a ton of fun. It was a really great show.
After nearly 2 full weeks of shows split between Christchurch Cathedral, Artward Art Bar, and the Pearl Company, with close to 500 attendees and over 15 acts, what was a small homegrown effort turned out to be an extremely successful and well-attended event in the city that already has people talking about next year.
I think it's awesome. Hamilton has a huge music culture, even though it's kind of a smaller town, and I think it's great that we're still a part of the bigger scene, kind of competing with Toronto, and it still brings it and keeps it home, which is awesome.
Packed house after packed house proved that Hamilton is ready to make a statement in the Canadian Jazz Festival scene. Based on this year's turnout, it looks as though more artists from broader regions will be vying for a spot in next year's festival, as the response was overwhelmingly positive. For Ignite News, I'm Nick Hindknapp.
Mohawk College was recently at Comic-Con as a sponsor, and as someone who also won, it was a fun event.
And if you weren't there, here's a look at what you missed.
Comic conventions are great opportunities for fans to meet celebrities, artists, and vendors. But why do they come to the comic conventions? For the celebrities, it's all about meeting fans as well as receiving special honors.
The people are great. They're very responsive. I'm very happy to be here because I was yesterday deputized as the honorary constable in Hamilton. The fans are great. People are great. And I enjoy seeing people leave with a smile on their face. It's all about the support because we're talking about the legacy of the Hulk like 40 years from now. And it just goes on and on as it gets more popular than ever.
For local artist Brenna Zest, going to conventions is all about self-promotion.
Since I've been doing conventions, for sure, I've got my name out there a lot. I've seen some people who recognize my stuff online, which was really, really cool. That was really uplifting.
These conventions provide a great opportunity for vendors to showcase their stuff and hopefully farm new customers.
A con like this, which is relatively new, they won't be seasoned customers of cons. They'll be more, wow, this is cool, this is fun. So you have to have kind of trinkety stuff and cool stuff that they may on impulse buy. The things behind me, the hardcore comic collecting stuff, is more for the niche collector. It won't be as busy at this con as, let's say, a Toronto con where it's been a 25-year con and the seasoned buyers come every year. So you kind of have to know what you're doing and who you're selling to. We look at it as a healthy competition. We try to promote cooperation between vendors. We're all friendly with each other. I think as a community of vendors, of pop culture vendors, we want to put the best foot forward in terms of just having a good presentation across the board. The reason to come here is for the promotion, it's for the marketing, and it's for the, hopefully, farming of new business that is return business.
For Ignite News, I'm Alex Smythe.
Superheroes are thriving on TV like Flash and the Green Arrow.
But how do these superheroes stack up to the iconic Canadian Captain Canuck?
Here's a look at the story.
The lines were long at Hamilton Comic-Con as fans eagerly awaited to meet Captain Canuck, the iconic Canadian superhero.
Captain Canuck was created by Richard Comely in 1976. Issue number 1 came out, and Captain Canuck Incorporated formed approximately 3 years ago and revitalized the Captain with this, as you see right now. There's an animated web series that's out. There's a comic book coming out next March.
In a small way, Mohawk College played a part in that. In 2006, I was asked to participate in creating a course, a one-year postgraduate course for comic book illustration and scripting. I taught the 2007 for that course, and prior to that, I taught. There was times when I was teaching 3 times a week for a continuing ed course in drawing and illustration, and always treated my students well with free comics, free Captain Canuck comics. And those days I had lots to give away. Not anymore. They're pretty well all gone. So now they're getting to be more expensive collector's items. So next year is our 40th anniversary. We have a lot of stuff happening next year. A new miniseries, another summer special. Interesting thing about this issue is very first time a Governor General has ever written a letter for a comic book series in history, included in this particular issue.
Well, it's iconic. It's probably the only real Canadian superhero that you really identify. With the Canadian flags all over him, like you can't mistake him for anything else. And there's no other superhero using the Canadian flag. I mean, we like to have great ties with comic book and comic strip, book illustrate. All these things are great sources of creativity. That animation. I mean, TV series, feature films, and it's amazing feature films how they've taken every comic book idea and put it on the film.
And Captain Canuck is certainly no exception to the current trend.
And lots of other things. There's still a feature film in the works. Second draft of the screenplay has been completed, so that's moving ahead.
And while the film is in the works, it was important to the creators to keep everything truly Canadian.
It's a nice, great collaboration of a lot of great Canadian artists, creative talent, writers that are coming together now, doing the web series, doing the animated series and animated feature coming up soon.
The future is certainly shining bright for this Canadian hero. For Ignite News, I'm Alex Smythe.
The Hamilton's Children's Choir will be venturing off to France, where they'll be showcasing their fine talents at the Pafolia Festival. Art director and conductor Safira Poles says that this is a result of a lot of hard work and dedication applied by the whole team. Emily Tobe is the assistant director. She expresses her excitement for the upcoming trip.
Probably our very first performance. That'll probably just open it up for us as a festival, and I hope the audience really takes it as an awesome experience for them. I hope they enjoy it. Oh my goodness, such an honor. It was also a huge honor in Korea recently in August. I can't even believe it myself. We started off in such humble beginnings. It's fantastic to see this blossoming into such a huge ensemble.
Aside from being the only Canadian team to qualify for this event, they are the only North American. They have gained an international reputation. Reporting for Ignite News, I'm Han Vo.
It's nice to grab something light and frothy in between classes.
I agree, and if you're also looking for something light and frothy, Christella might just be your cup of tea.
Ah, my beautiful wife. Her beautiful mother. And Christella.
There will be at least one show on TV this fall that will make you laugh. Christella is the new comedy series to watch this fall. Cristela is pretty much George Lopez, except the main character, Cristela, is a law intern. The show is about a Mexican-American who lives with her sister's family and her mother. There's even an overweight, funny family friend who is always over at the house. The show's pilot heavily relied on ethnic humor, playing up on the fact that Cristela and her family are Latino. While the jokes are funny, many are jokes you've probably heard before.
Oh, can I toss this in before you empty that?
Is this really happening?
Oh my God. Oh my God. I am so sorry. Obviously, you're not the cleaning crew. Can you validate me?
I think you've been validated enough.
You can forgive the lack of originality in the show's concept because it does its job. It makes you laugh. There seems to be enough of a storyline to keep Cristela interesting. First, there are enough family members living under one roof to provide plenty of witty, banter-filled episodes. Plus, there's Cristela's other world, her new internship. The law office where Cristela works is bound to be filled with racial, almost cringe-worthy humor. This is thanks to Cristela's stereotypical, racist Texan boss, played by Sam McMurray.
They say when a person's drowning, the third time he goes under, it's for good.
I never learned to swim, so for me it'd be like first time, ploop, dead.
Can't swim? Mm-hmm. How'd you get to Texas?
The show doesn't need big names to be a success. The group of actors seems natural together, and the chemistry works. The lines and jabs at one another seem effortless, like the cast is a group of old friends.
Point to the biggest house and say you're American. You work hard, you make something of yourself, and one day you can clean that house.
The show can expect some backlash over its highly stereotypical and racial approach to humor.
A Jew, a Mexican, and a blonde walk into a law office.
Wait, and then what happens?
Still, Cristela will have you laughing for half an hour every Friday night. For me, that earns this show a rating of 4 out of 5. You can catch Cristela Friday nights at 8:30 on CHCH. For Ignite Entertainment, I'm Kyle Williamson.
Okay, if you're looking to learn a little history from video games, you may want to check out Rise, Son of Rome.
But be warned, our video game reviewer Steven Soba says you won't learn a lot from this game.
Legionaries! Salute your new centurion!
In the last few game reviews I've done, I've noticed most of them are based on surviving in a wild and uncontrollable location. Fighting and combat are secondary to survival. Maybe it's because I'm a sucker for atmosphere, or maybe I'm the kind of gamer who puts story ahead of gameplay. Or maybe I'm just bad at fast-paced games. Well, screw that. I want blood and gore and gratuitous violence. Rise, Son of Rome is a hacko-slasho, button-masho game developed by Crytek where you play as Marius Titus, a Roman general who is defending Rome from invading barbarians. You go to the Emperor Nero's royal palace to protect them from the invaders and the immortal mythical general Damocles. As you're protecting Nero in the royal vaults, you begin to tell him the story of how you became a Roman general. Basically, your premise is your family was brutally murdered by barbarians and you want blood. I mean, it's not like your father minutes ago said,
"You may have mastered the sword, but never rush to meet the world with it drawn."
Oh, wait, scratch that, because after your mother and sister are killed, your dad goes into a blood frenzy. So much for peaceful resolutions. Anyway, you are transferred to the British Isles where out of desperation, you take command and lead the legionaries to victory. Obviously. What, did you think you weren't playing Die Hard with barbarians? Of course you're the unstoppable badass. You use a combination of light and heavy attacks to defeat opponents. Enemies telegraph their attacks, allowing you to dodge or parry them. When you've damaged an opponent enough, you can activate an execution, which shows you killing a barbarian in gruesome detail. Whenever you kill an enemy, you get either a health, damage, experience, or focus power bonus. You can use your focus power to slow down all opponents around you, giving you a chance to wail on them tirelessly. While it might seem like I'm giving the game a hard time, there really isn't any issue with it. It just seems like this game borrows all of its ideas from pop culture and doesn't really create anything new. The setting is from a history textbook, the combat is exceptionally similar to the God of War series, and the cutscenes and executions use the 300 effect of speeding up and slowing down the action. I honestly can't stress enough how similar this game is to God of War. Rise even has a bit of Roman myth right down to you becoming a spirit of vengeance. The only thing it's missing is the epic boss battles. Good thing they took those out. The game doesn't allow you to roam around that much, huh? Roam? Get it? Anyway, levels are entirely linear, and leveling up system is relatively simple and basic. There are only 8 levels, each of which take about 30 minutes to complete without dying. So for me, spending $45 on about 4 to 5 hours of gameplay is not worth it. There is a multiplayer feature where you and a friend are fighting barbarians in Roman Colosseum, but it's basically the same thing, just without a story. Despite all my criticism, the game does look amazing and the combat flows well. Cutscenes are well orchestrated and the visual aspects, although a bit grim, work well. So if you're a fan of the God of War series, then you will like Rise Son of Rome. However, if you're not, you'll find Rise to be a monotonous grind. Rise is available on Steam and Xbox One.
Rome is civilization. Rome is order.
The Walk Smart program is a volunteer-based program that runs Mondays to Thursdays from 6:30 to 10:30, and we have teams of volunteers that will come around and walk you to your car, the bus stop, or your local home if you need help with your bags or if you just want someone to walk with you. So luckily at Mohawk, we've never had any issues of harassment or sexual assault on campus. We've been lucky like that, but other campuses in Ontario have had problems, so this is more of a preemptive thing for us, and we act as an extra set of eyes and ears for security. We have walkie-talkies that we keep in contact with security with, so we can walk around and act as an extra set of eyes and ears for a security program and help out just keeping this campus safe. We're really focused on promoting a friendly and safe environment and a positive learning environment for our night school students, make them feel comfortable and safe when they're coming here. If you want to get a walk, feel free to come by our office, and we're located in McCasey's across from the mini Tim Hortons, or you can give us a call or shoot us an email at walksmart, all one word, at mohawkcollege.ca, and we can schedule a walk for you, or just flag down a group of volunteers whenever you see them on campus. We're wearing the big yellow sweater, the hoodies with Walk Smart across them, or we have white t-shirts with a logo on the back, or we also have big yellow jackets with Walk Smart on them. So we're very easy to find. And if you see us, we will be more than happy to give you a walk wherever you want in the area.
We'll be walking around anywhere around campus. We'll be outside, we'll be indoors, and all you have to do is find us and ask, and we'll be very happy to help you. The reason for having a program like this is just to ensure the safety of all the students. We want to make sure they're having a fun, safe, and healthy school environment for everybody.
Over the course of the 3 years that I've been with the program, we've grown exponentially. We have a lot more volunteers that are out helping out every night, walking around campus. And also we've had a lot more walks and people using the program, people who are aware of the program. We've really been pushing to promote the program on campus with welcome nights and serving up free popcorn and stuff like that to let people know what we are and why we're here. We've been going over to Res a lot and talking to them, letting them know that we're here, that we can walk you to, even if it's just a simple walk from campus to residence. If you don't feel safe, by all means, come on and call us up and let us know that you need a walk. We'd be more than happy to join you on your way to residence. So we really just try to promote ourselves as much as possible on campus, let everyone know that the service is here for them and we are willing to help, and it's a free service. You never need to pay us anything. We work under the McCasey's banner, so the continuing education services, and we are looking to just create a friendly and safe, positive learning environment for students to come and learn in.
If you want to get involved, you could shoot an email off to the email, or you could call us and we'll be happy to answer any questions about it, or you could just walk right in to our head office that's in the McCasey's room, and we'll be able to help you and sign you up right there.
Week here at Mohawk for the varsity sports, but they're finally starting to pick up.
Let's see how your Mountaineers are doing.
The Mohawk women's varsity volleyball team traveled to London on Saturday to go head-to-head against the Fanshawe Falcons. The women were looking to redeem themselves after falling 3 sets to St. Clair on Friday. Mohawk came on strong in the first match, taking an early lead against Fanshawe. The Falcons tried to come back late in the first set, but Mohawk stayed strong and took the win 25-23. In the second set, Mohawk pulled ahead, dominating Fanshawe in the serving and tough blocks. The Falcons battled hard but were no match for Mohawk. The Mountaineers ran away with a 25-15 victory. The third match was tougher for the Mountaineers, as the play was more evenly matched. For the first time in the set, the women found themselves playing from behind. But Mohawk battled their way back and took the win 25-18. Head coach Andy Nicholson says his team was finally able to stay positive and bounce back after Friday night's loss.
It was a good game. We set a good game plan, and compared to last night when we lost, today we followed our game plan. The girls were excited. We got rid of a lot of the negativity that was in our body language last night, and again did a lot of good things today. Consistency. The big thing that we have to work on is understanding that to be successful in this league, you have to set a platform, build on the platform, and right now the platform is based on consistency. So consistency in passing, consistency in serving, and understanding what the other team is trying to do against you. First time we've beaten Fanshawe in 4 years, so this is the 4th year I've been at Mohawk. We haven't beat them until today. Really proud of the girls. Again, it was a very solid effort based on the game plan, and yeah, I mean, it was fantastic, I think. Well, we set our goals for the playoffs. This was, again, the 4th year I've been there. We haven't made the playoffs yet. We've got a really solid group of athletes this year. Good balance in our attack. So that goal of playoffs is achievable, and we're going to make it. Again, it's about consistency. Today the girls were talking in the debrief about setting a platform. We had a great platform today as far as this is a good starting point for us. And now we're going to build on our attack and build on our passing and build on our serving, and this is a starting point.
Left side Chantel Baker says her team was finally able to come together.
Today was a great game. Everyone worked together. That's really what we need to do to win this season. Yeah, we didn't let it go to 5. We stuck it straight out and won in 3, so I thought it was great. Probably the fundamentals, like just watching passes and watching the ball into our arms for passes and easy stuff like that. We followed Andy's game plan, so we have that down, but just really the fundamentals. Probably following the game plan a little better. Like Andy, like I said, works really hard on making a game plan, watching the film, all of that. So I think personally I just need to remember the game plan the whole game and stick with it. Well, we kept our positivity up this game, so I think as a team we just need to keep our positivity up. Even if we lose a point, just work on the next one and not let it get to us at all. My personal goals are, like I said, stick to the game plan every time. So I think that's really about it. Get my kills up.
The women will travel to Niagara on Friday, October 31st, with the hopes of bringing home their second win of the season. For Ignite Sports, I'm Sam McFadden.
That's all that we have for your Ignite News this week. I'm Jennifer Taylor.
And I'm Sam McFadden. Thanks for watching.